All right, let's talk about data URLs, formerly called data URIs. Data URLs is another optimization technique for reducing the number of HTTP requests. With this technique, we can embed an image directly into an HTML document or a style sheet. So for this demo, we're going to go to cssportal.com/image to data. Now in the future, when you're watching this lesson, if this website is not available, just go to Google and search for data URI or data URL generator. Now on this page, we can drop an image. So I'm going to drop this image as an example. Now down below, in the data URI box, you can see this image represented as a long sequence of characters. So we can get this sequence of characters and put it directly inside an HTML document or a style sheet. Down below, you can see an example. So we're going to copy this and paste it into our markup. Here's what we get. We have an image element with two attributes. Alt is set to the name of the file. So perhaps we want to give this a more descriptive value. Or if this image is used purely for decoration, you want to set this to an empty string. Now look at the source attribute. It's set to this really long string of characters. This is a data URL. So all the URLs we have talked about so far started with HTTP or HTTPS. That is the protocol in a URL. Now data is another protocol which is used for representing a binary file in a sequence of characters. Right after data, we have colon. Then we have image/png. This specifies the type of data we're representing here. And after that, we have the actual data. So if we save the changes and go back to the browser, we see this UFO. Now let's open up Chrome DevTools. Here on the network tab, let's refresh the page. We get a data URL. And this data URL is coming straight from the memory. So our browser did not send a separate HTTP request to download this image because this image is embedded inside our HTML document. Now look at the time. The time to get this was 0 milliseconds. So with data URLs, we can reduce the number of HTTP requests. And with this, we can potentially achieve faster load time. But there are a number of problems with this approach. The first problem is that the size of embedded code is always larger than the size of the original resource. So back to this page, look at the old size and compare it with the new size. The old size represents the size of our PNG file, and the new size represents the size of our data URL. So in this case, our data URL is about 4 kilobytes larger. So we don't want to embed so many images using data URLs because we'll end up increasing the size of our HTML document or style sheet. The second problem is increased complexity in markup and workflow. So tomorrow, if we decide to replace this image, we'll have to come back here or go to another tool and regenerate the data URL. This is not convenient. It's much easier to replace an image in the file system. And the third problem is that on mobile devices, data URLs are significantly slower to display than external images. Personally, I'm not a fan of data URLs because I think the benefits don't outweigh the drawbacks. That's why I've never used them in the past. But I know there are a lot of websites that use them, so that's why I covered them in this course. So in case you see them, you know what they are and how they work.